Welcome to Astro Mercenary's medical training, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Today, me and my buddy here, our little training assistant, will show you how to do some medical gameplay and the best way to use your medical tools. So, if you want a little bit of medical training, you've come to the right place. I'm going to give you, to my best knowledge, a bunch of tips and tricks on how to keep yourself alive in the verse and how to keep your friends alive and all that kind of stuff. So if you like this kind of thing, there may be a few more training sessions in the future, so make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. This is a different intro, as you can tell. There's no "What up?" It's Astro Manny here, but what up? What up? It's Astro Manny here, but what up? Astro Manny is here, but we're here on a medical training mission. So I'm not going to bore you guys with all the normal pleasantries and stuff because we're going to get right into the training part so that I can reuse this video to send to people and have them learn how to train and stuff with medical training. And we're going to do on-site medical training as well, but this is just a intro video or orientation to medical training. So we got Chica here as our trusty assistant to help us out on this training exercise. We're going to talk about the med gun, which we have in our hands. We're going to talk about med pens, the different colors of med pens. And we're going to talk about um, a small little bit about what you should be equipped and whatnot. We'll talk about different ships and different med beds, different types of med beds, and things like that. So we'll cover all that we can. So let's get into it, right? It's a nice day here. It's looking beautiful. What we're going to start off with is, of course, when you're doing medical gameplay, you got to get hurt, right? So my trusty assistant here is going to injure me, and hopefully I'll take some injuries and not die. So go ahead and shoot me, probably not in the head, chest, legs, wherever. We want to get multiple injuries, but just try not to. I'll tell you when. Oh, nice, beautiful. Keep going. That didn't take very much damage. I'm at 75. Yep. Okay, I'm at 50. All right. Ouch. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Switching guns here. Okay, okay. Oh, there you go. Okay, so now I am bleeding, right? And I have an injury. So this can happen where you start to bleed and you will die because your health will slowly drain from your bleeding unless you heal yourself before you die. So as you see, I'm at 22% and I'm bleeding and it's going to slowly go down 21%. And this, it's pretty simple to stop the bleeding. You just heal yourself and the bleeding will go away. You can press C or hold C to pull up different med pens, or you can press the 4 key to pull out your different utility items, which would be your med gun. But we're going to start, like I said, with your med pens. So we're going to take out the red med pen because that heals you and stops bleeding, right? So I'm going to hit me with that. Boom. Now my bleeding has stopped and I'm back up to 68%. And 68% is actually the highest I can now heal myself to because I have a tier 2 body injury now, so that will not allow me. So now, because I have a tier 2 body injury, I cannot get to full 100% HP. So the more injuries you take, the less you're going to be able to regen your total maximum HP. So be aware of that. Injecting the red med pen has given me a little bit of a drug level, but nothing too big to worry about at the moment. We'll talk more about that soon. Next, I need Chica once again to shoot me some more and hopefully shoot me in the arms, and maybe I can get a tier 3 arm injury, and then we can talk more about things like that. There, okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. Thank you, thank you. All right, this time I am not bleeding, but I do have a tier 3 arm injury, and I have a tier 2 chest injury. So we can talk about different tier levels and things like that. First off, let's heal up, right? I no longer have any red med pins on my body, so in my inventory, I'm going to go ahead and click on a red med pen and equip that. The game is a little bit bugged and did not drop the med pen. If the game bugs and your med pen doesn't drop, it's 0 still sitting on your waist, so you want to take that off your waist and drop it. Equip a new med pen. And again, I will heal myself with the red med pen. Make that heavy breathing stop a little bit. And as you can see, my drug level has gone up even more. So now that we have some injuries and stuff, let's talk about taking care of the injuries and healing that stuff and whatnot. Before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about gear real quick. I'm not going to talk about a full perfect gear set for what you should be doing on everyday kind of stuff. We're going to just talk about the basics of what you should have on you for medical gameplay, okay? So you should definitely have a med gun on you, right? The med gun, so you can use the medical gel and stuff to heal people and cure injuries and things like that. You should definitely have a multi-tool on you because the multi-tool will allow you to use the tractor beam to help you move bodies and whatnot and help in cases where the person you're trying to heal is out of reach and maybe you need to grab them and bring them towards you. There will be more of that on our on-site training and stuff when we use the multi-tool and show you good ways of doing all that stuff. But nonetheless, I think you should always have a multi-tool with a tractor beam and a med gun to start with. Now you should always have some of these red med pens because it's a lot easier to heal yourself by just pressing C real quickly and pulling out a med pen and healing yourself than it is to press the 4 key and then pulling out a med gun and pressing B to aim it on yourself and then heal yourself. Med pens are always faster, so it's always good to have med pens on you. Next, let's talk about the different color med pens. Now, when you're out on the field, you don't necessarily need to bring these colored med pens because the med gun will do it all. But just to be thorough in our medical training, we will talk about the different colored pens here so that we can tell you what each and every single one of them do. There is charts on the internet that you can just Google up that will tell you the specific colors and stuff to do, but I'm here to tell you about it in a video so that you have it all here in one place and everything like that. And I know this is a lot of information, so that's why it's in a video form, and you can always pause, rewind, and stuff like that. So, different colors that we have, right? We have orange, gray, blue, green, purple, and red. Okay, the red one is the standard med pen, which we have shown off. That is to heal yourself and to stop the bleeding and things like that. So that's your standard med pen, which I said you should always have those on your hip at all times, because those are a lot faster to heal with anyways. So next, I'll just go through the colors and what they do. Starting with red, like I said, that's healing yourself and stopping the bleeding, right? You could also revive teammates by using med pens, and you can use med pens on teammates by right-clicking on them instead of left-clicking, by putting your crosshair on them and right-clicking. The green pens relieve your limb-based damage effects. So let's go ahead and use the green pen. Since we have a arm injury, the arm injury will, when we're aiming down our sights, will have us sway a little bit and have less accurate shooting. So in order to stop this from happening, we can take this injection from a green pen, just like that, and we should no longer have problems with our arm injuries, and we should be able to aim down sights decently well. Okay. Next, we'll talk about the purple pen, which will relieve head-based damage and muscle fatigue. But we don't have a head injury at the moment, so sometimes if you have a head injury and things like that, the purple pen is what you would use for that, and it'll stop you from being dizzy, and also a couple of other things. So we're going to go ahead and inject it anyways. Why not? You can see that our blood level is going up. It also actually, the purple took care of the side effects of the arm. So maybe I was a little bit wrong there. Maybe the green was for the legs only, and the purple's for the arms. So as you can see now, the 3 on my arm has a square around it, meaning that I'm no longer taking the side effects from the arm damage. Next, we'll talk about the orange, which is supposed to relieve your chest base effects and your muscle weakness. So right now I have a tier 2 chest injury, which means that I'm breathing heavier and I can sprint for less time. But if I give myself an orange pen, that should take care of that. As you can see, that now has a square box around the 2 on my body over here, which means I can now run again normally and I can breathe properly. So that has taken care of all my injuries with just those pens right there. That is basically the pens that will heal you and take care of the side effects. There are a couple other colored pens, like the blue one, the Oxy pen, but that is not really relevant for medical gameplay. That's kind of just to put oxygen in you. So like if you're in a planet that doesn't have oxygen or a moon that doesn't have oxygen or something like that, that's what the Oxy pen's for. So that's not really too relevant here, but it's basically self-explanatory. If you're running out of oxygen, if your oxygen levels in your suit are going down, make sure to inject an oxypen. The last one to talk about is the gray one, the Resurga. The Resurga does not help you cure any injuries. What it does is it helps you bring your blood level down. As you can see, I'm now at 63% of my blood level. So we need to bring that down because as you can see, I'm getting a little bit hazy because I have too many drugs in my system. Once you reach 75%, you become overdosed and your vision becomes impaired and you begin to walk very slowly and you can't function correctly if you get to 75%. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is get myself to 75% and actually, Blocky, why don't you inject me with something like the green pen or the purple pen or something, and so we can show that you can inject me. There you go. See, he right-clicked, and now I am at 81%, and I am now overdosed and wobbly and drunk, whatever you want to call it, but I am impaired, right? I have had too much drugs, and things are not so great anymore. So when you reach over 75%, you enter the red level of being overdosed, and that is not good. So the gray one, which we have left, the detox pen, Resurga, will help bring that blood level down. So if I use Resurga, boom, it won't instantly bring my blood level down, but now you see there's this little minus bar above the blood level, meaning that my blood level is now dropping at a quicker rate than normal. This also takes away sometimes the effects of your healing, so you have to be aware to balance your Resurga with your other drugs in your system as well, and we'll take care of all of that real soon. But that is my tutorial on the med pens, which again aren't really necessary in the field as long as you have a med gun, which we'll talk about next. Or not next, actually. First we're going to talk about the different ships and med beds because we need to take care of this drug level, and these ships can help us with that. So while we're a little bit overdosed and whatnot, as my drug level drops, and this will actually help because it'll show you that once I get below 75%, I won't be walking slow and stumbling everywhere anymore. So next, let's talk about ships. So here I brought 3 different ships with us: the 890 Jump, the Cutlass Red, and the Pisces Rescue. Now there is one other ship that you could bring for, or another ship to choose from in the medical field, and that is the Anvil Carrack. But I just didn't want to bother bringing the Anvil Carrack. Nothing against the Anvil Carrack, it's just I had the 890. I don't own the Carrack, so these are the ships I brought out, and this will get the point across. So they have different types of med beds, but these ships have med beds in them, and they each have different types of med beds. Now the Pisces and the Cuddy Red both share the same med bed. They have a tier 3 med bed. Okay, the 890 Jump and the Carrack have tier 2 med beds. And the way the tiers work in this game is the higher the tier, 3 is the weakest injury. It's the one that is going to do the least amount of damage, tier 3. Tier 2 is a moderate injury. It's pretty like that's so tier 3 is a minor injury. Tier 2 is a moderate injury, and Tier 1 is a severe injury. And if you have a Tier 1 injury, the only way to cure that is by going to a hospital on a station or a planet. A medical ship cannot cure a Tier 1 currently. So, on that note, like I said, these Pisces and the Cuddy Red can cure Tier 3 injuries, but they cannot cure Tier 2 injuries. The 890 Jump and the Carrack can cure Tier 2 or Tier 3 injuries, but cannot cure Tier 1 injuries. So that's a brief explanation on that. And as you can see now, my drug level has dropped below 75%, so I can now run again. I'm no longer drunk. Everything is okay. I'm a little bit hazy because I'm in the yellow, but for the most part, I can function perfectly fine. And so that takes care of the ship information. Which ones do I prefer? Um, well, bringing a Carrack or an 890 around can sometimes be slow and troublesome. So it would be nice to have tier 2 beds with you all the time, but those are big ships and they're a little, like I said, a little bit of a pain in the butt. The Cuddy Red and the Pisces are great ships to have around with you to heal up tier 3s whenever you get tier 3s and stuff. And the Pisces just being so small is my preferred medical ship just because you can go anywhere with it and it's tiny, it's quick, it's cool, it's beautiful, and it has lots of cool skins for it. This is my favorite skin. All the other skins are actually really cool too, but this one's blue. We're the Astro Mercenaries. We're blue. I'm blue. I'm Astro Manny. That's how we do it. Okay, so next we'll talk about using the medical beds. I know this is a long video, but there's a lot to talk about, Chica. There's a lot to talk about. I didn't even realize it was going to be this long. Anyways, so here we are. We're going to go into the med bed of the Pisces. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get in the med bed. A couple things are going to happen right away. It's going to heal me to my maximum amount. So actually, can you shoot me real quick? Just once, so my health isn't at full. Okay, that's good. Okay, so it's going to heal me to my maximum amount that I can be healed to, which I'm at 56, but I could get a little bit more. As you see, the dotted line is where I can't get to, but that solid line is I can go up a little bit more. Okay, another thing that's going to happen is it's going to completely detox me. Whenever you get on a med bed, all your drug level is going to go straight to 0. And so it's going to completely detox me, meaning these symptoms that I have for my tier 3 injury and my tier 2 injury are going to actually come back because it's going to take all the drugs out of my system, including the ones that are benefiting me on making the pain go away. It's also going to up your food and drinks, your hydration and hunger to maximum as well. So the MedBed is pretty much a one-stop shop to do everything. I do want to mention that it is still always better to drink food or drink water and eat food than it is to use the MedBed to refill your hydration and hunger because it will last longer if you drink and eat instead of using the MedBed. The MedBed will make your hunger and thirst go down quicker than it would as if you ate food or drank water. Okay, so let's get on the MedBed. You're going to see that it's going to completely detox me. As you see, my drug level is going down, my hunger is going up, my health filled up to 62%, which is the maximum I can get to at the moment. My symptoms have returned. As you can see, there's no longer square blocks around my 3 and 2 on my injuries. So all that stuff happened. It's completely taken all the drugs out of my system. Now, here is your medical screen, right? It's a little bit cut off. I should have took my helmet off before I got in the thing, but this will do. You can see medical care and regeneration. Don't worry about regeneration. That's for implanting your body places, and we're not covering that in this video. We are going into the medical care tab. And actually, I'm going to step off, and I am going to take my helmet off because for some reason in the Pisces bed, if you have a helmet on, sometimes you can't see correctly. So I'm going to take off this helmet. This is a little bug thing to help you guys with too. Sometimes in the Pisces, If you have your helmet on, you can't see the screen all the way. So just take it off and it'll fix it. As you can see, you can now see the screen very clearly. You can see everything and everything's there. So we're going to enter medical care. This is our status. We have some injuries on our chest and our arms. And like I said, this is a tier 3 treatment bed. You see right here, it says treatment tier 3 on the bed, meaning we can go to treatment and we can treat our left arm because, and it says right here, the torso. Warning, a tier 2 medical facility is needed. Medication is advised while in transit. So we cannot cure our chest because our chest has taken too much damage. The Pisces cannot fix that. But we can cure our arm injury by clicking on this and then clicking on, this is supposed to be treatment down here. It's supposed to say confirm, but it's bugged out. Nonetheless, that's how you do it. It also has this administer drugs to manage systems. We're going to actually go over that in medication. We're not going to do that here. But anyway, so I'm going to click this, and the Pisces is going to heal my arm injury. As you can see, I no longer have a tier 3 arm injury. I gained a little bit of health. I can now get to a maximum of 68%, but I still have my tier 2, and that is an issue. So since we still have the tier 2, we want to mitigate this problem, right? So in this tab here, medication, this we're going to go over in the Medgun treatment, but we're going to also talk about it here quickly in the Medbed stuff. So this is basically the different pens we used. The Resurgent is the gray pen, the last one we used. The Roxafen is the green one that we used, the very first one. The Sterigen is the orange one that we used. And then the Demextrine is the purple one. That's basically adrenaline. And so the drugs are all here, and we could now put them in manually or autoly, have the game auto do it for us to take away some of the symptoms. This is also our blood drug level down here. Once it goes into the red, you become overdosed, and that's not a good thing. So here's the thing you could do. You can put auto, right? And so what it did autoly is it's going to say, oh, I need all this Sterigen, right? It's going to give me 60 Sterigen. That's going to last for an hour long, which is great. That's what we want, okay? And you can do this in multiple different ways, but that's going to last for an hour long of having our chest injury cured. So for an hour long, we won't have to worry about our chest injury. But it's also going to bring our blood level pretty high. It's going to bring it, I believe, to 75%. So if we were to do any more injections of blood, of drugs, we would be slightly overdosed past that 75% range. So I don't recommend doing the max 60 into your system. I would definitely do maybe, if you're just dealing with a chest injury, which is just this Sterigen, then maybe go 45. So it's still going to last for 45 minutes long, but it's not going to bring you to that maximum drug level limit. And we'll talk more about that here because we're going to now not do this, but we're going to implement it by using the Medgun. Okay? So that's what we're going to go over now, is using the Medgun. And that will be the end of it all. I know this is a lot. The last thing we're going to do is the Medgun. Okay. Oh, well, I should probably put my helmet on, right, guys? Did we talk about the rest of the kit? I think really all I said was you need a med gun and a multi-tool and always have med pens on you. The other thing you can have is the lifeguard multi-tool attachment, but honestly that's a waste. Don't use the lifeguard multi-tool attachment. Other things to have as a medic is probably drinks, so you could pass out drinks to people. Having backup supplies of your med gel for your med pen. So let's talk about that real quick. Your med gun uses med gel, green goo, and your medical device. It has a ammo of 200. I always keep one med gel refill on my belt for my ammo. As you can see, I can reload 200 of 200 of my med gun when I need to. But on top of that, it's always good to have a few in your backpack as well, so just in case you go through a lot. The 200 ammo in this thing lasts for a really long time, so you don't need a huge amount of med gel. So the paramed refill, you don't need a huge amount of it because it lasts for a long time. Even when you're in really long extended battles, having 4 of these is more than enough, like way more than enough. So next we talk about the med gun, right? The med gun can do lots of things for you. This is your main tool. I know we're leaving this to the end of the video to talk about the main tool, but we're saving the best for last. And let's talk about it. So first off, the med gun can heal you. I took a little bit of damage by having my helmet off. I'm now at 62%. So in order to heal yourself, you have to press B on the keyboard to pull it up to your arm like that. So now you can left click and heal yourself. Boom. Now I'm at 68%, as max as I can get with the med gun. You can also press B again to take it off of healing yourself, and you can heal your friends. Boom. Now Chica is at 100%. Magic, right? So one thing before I get into talking about the advanced part of the med gun is a bug fix with the med gun. Sometimes what you do when you heal yourself with the med gun, right, you press B and now you're trying to heal yourself, right? And then you healed yourself at full. Okay, I don't need the med gun anymore. Let me press 2 to pull out my gun and go back to fighting. Don't do that, guys, because that will give you a little bit of a bug to where when you go back to your med gun, it's going to do this. Look, pointing it out and then does that, and it's kind of confused on where you are right now. So you need to reset it by pressing B a few times to reset it to make it work correctly. But in order to avoid all that, if you're going to heal yourself, just press B again to put it back to its normal position before you swap to a gun, and you'll never have to deal with the small little bug of the med gun freaking out on you sometimes, because sometimes that happens, and that's a cool little tip to throw in there for you guys. Alright, so now let's talk about the advanced version of the med gun. So like I said, we don't need those med pens if you have a med gun, because the med gun does it all. You click this button here by holding down your inner dots key and switching from basic to advanced. And this has all the drugs that were in the med bed and that are in the med pens, the colored med pens, but it's all in this med gun. And it's magical. All this stuff right here in the med gun. And what you can do in the med gun is you can click the auto button. Boom. It's just like it was showing me on the med bed. It's giving me Sterogen to fix my chest injury. And I can adjust this by adding more or less and making it last longer. So like I said, if I brought it to 45, which is where I was talking about doing it in the med bed, if I brought the Sterogen all the way to 45, it will last for 45 minutes and 36 seconds, and it will bring my blood level to this point. If I was doing what the med bed wanted me to do and do it for a whole hour, as you can see, it's going to bring my blood level down here even higher. And like I said, I don't want to do that much drugs in my system, because if I need to heal myself or add additional healing or other symptoms, I'm going to overdose, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. So the great thing about this is you can manually adjust how long and how much drugs you want to put into your system. And all this stuff, like I said, is we've gone over in the colored pens. The Resurga is the stuff that takes drugs out of your system. Sterogen is the one that heals your chest injuries, and the purple one, Demetraxine, it's adrenaline, guys. That one heals your arms, and then the Roxafen heals your legs, I believe. The Sterogen also heals your chest or your head, I think. Even though it says that the purple one, the Demetrix, heals your head as well. Anyways, what I recommend is hitting auto, right? And that's going to tell you which ones you need. And then you can adjust it from there to have the time sense. So like I said, I want to adjust this to have 45, okay? At 45 minutes, I can put enough steroid into me to heal myself for 45 minutes. And then I just go ahead and I put it in, right? It's going in. There's a little bit of desync, so be careful as you're doing it. You see that? My drug level is going up, but I'm now, you can see active drugs, sterogen for 31 minutes. It's not quite at 45, so I'm just going to continue to pump that up a little bit, pump that up a little bit. There you go. And my sterogen is taken care of for the next 45 minutes, and my drug level is at 60. You see, if I would have put a full hour in, that would have sucked because my drug level would have been at 75%, and that would have been annoying. So I don't recommend putting in the full amount. You want to give yourself a little bit of breathing room. Another thing that you can do is add some Resurgit into it to help bring your drug level down even more. So what I can do now is give myself... Actually, I should have used the Resurgit first, so I messed this up. We'll do it on Blocky. We'll do the Resurgit part on Blocky. Because I should have done the Resurgit first. Because if I add Resurgit now, see what happens if I add Resurgit now. If I add 10% Resurgit, then it's going to actually drop the sterogen. You see that? Adding Resurgit while you have drugs in your system is going to reduce the effect of the current drugs. But you can see how fast my drug level is dropping. So sometimes it's important to have Resurgit in your system and have the drugs in your system and deal with the fact that it's not going to last as long just to keep your drug level down. And when you're doing combat for a really long time, this is important. If you're doing Siege of Orison or in a really long combat situation where you have taken lots of injuries but you got to keep going and your drug level is getting high, you have to have Resurgit in your system too, just to balance things out. And I want to show that I would have done it differently here on Blocky. And so now we're going to beat up Blocky for a bit because he got to beat us up a bit. So you got to let me know what your health is at and when you take some injuries, okay? Okay, so I'm going to actually shoot you in... Where'd you go? Stop moving with your desync. Don't move. What do you mean I disappeared? Don't worry, you don't need to see me. I'm going to shoot you in the head. Are you ready? Stop moving. Okay, so now I'll heal you. Don't worry about it, okay? So, we need to go back to basic. Okay, and look, when you're looking at your friends, you can see their status, by the way, guys. So he's bleeding out right now. If I don't heal him, he's going to die in 53 seconds. So what you can do with your friends is you can point at them and you can heal your friends. See, I can heal him up. He's at 49%, but he's no longer bleeding. And I can continue to heal him up by pointing my gun at him and healing him up and whatnot. So this is your best friend. Your med gun is your best friend. You heal him up, bring him up to full. He's now got a head injury, right? So with his head injury, you can do this to switch. It's a little bit harder to switch to advanced mode and apply drugs and stuff to friends because it's kind of further away on your screen. But you can still do it. So you have to be aimed down to do this. So right now, I'm not aimed down. And when I try to use the inner thoughts menu, it gives me all these holsters, store, carry, load weapon, drop, inspect, things like that. So you need to make sure that you toggle your aim down sights so that when I do now my inner thoughts, it allows me to interact with the actual button on the med gun. It's a little bit a pain in the butt because it's further away, but you can still do it. And it's clicked on Blocky here. It's clicked on Chica, sorry. His name used to be Blocky. And you can see that he's got a tier 3 head injury, and the med gun is registering all his information, and now we can hit auto on him, right? And it is telling us it wants to give him the adrenaline and the sturgeon, the demixtrine. I don't know how how to say that word, guys. And the surgeon to take care of his head injury. Okay, so it wants us to do that. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to now juice him up with Sterogen and stuff. And this is where we put it for a maximum of 5 minutes. It starts standard at a maximum of 5 minutes, and I like that. 5 minutes, you could reapply it, but your drug level only goes up to like 17%. So he is good for 5 minutes. He is a beast. He's no longer got a head injury. He is killing it, right? So what we're going to do now, to show you a little bit more before we finish up here, is we're going to continue to beat on Chica here and shoot him in the leg. What's your health? Let me know when you get an injury. You're fine. Okay, so first off, let's turn this back to basic, and we can see that again, Blocky is bleeding, but now has injuries on the legs. So we can actually, you know, let Blocky die here, so that we can show that we can revive teammates, right? Because that's a part of medical training too. It's not showing me your information. There we go. Okay, so Blocky's about to die. Boom. Dead. Okay? You can heal your teammates with the med gun by looking at them and healing them in the normal basic mode, or you can heal them with med pens by right-clicking on them. All right? These are your two options. Right-click on them. Boom. There you go. Med pen has brought him back to life. You could also, like I said, shoot him with the med gun, and that's another way to bring him back to life. So now he's at 71%, which is the highest he can get to, but has now leg injuries on top of his head injuries. And what we can do again is hit auto to have it tell us what they want us to do. And again, it's just showing the two Sterogen and Demextrine. Okay, so maybe you don't even need that top one for anything, because we've done all the different injuries and it told us we don't need that top one. Yeah, yeah. Because even here you can see that it is treated. Yeah, like on our screen I can see that there's squares around your treatments. You're perfectly fine. We're going to pump you up to your 5-minute marker again. Looks good to me. So this is where I wanted to do the next part of talking about Resurger real quick. This is the last thing. I'm going to give a little tip here for long battles, long fighting, is when your blood level is starting to get high because you've had injuries for a long time, you have multiple different injuries, you're going to want to, like I said, do the Resurger trick to keep your blood level down so you never get overdosed in long fights. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep dosing him up, make his drug level get pretty high, even though it's not letting me, so I got to add, make this bar go up, make this bar go up. Okay, add a little bit more drugs in the system. It's now at 50-ish, and then he decides to hit himself to make him go all the way up to 68. But that's good enough, right? So he's at 68. Now what I'm going to do, like I said, that's actually more than I wanted you to have, but this will still work. I'm going to put a bunch of Resurgent into him, and it's going to take his active drugs down a lot, okay? This is why, damn, you gave yourself way too much of that top one. Roxaphin. Okay, so I'm going to give him a whole crap ton of Resurgent. Yeah. And it's going to take his drug levels down. You see he's got 14 minutes of Roxaphin, 7 minutes of Sterogen, and 7 minutes of Demextrine. I'm going to give him a bunch of Resurgent. Now all that stuff is dropped, but he's got Resurgent for 10 minutes. And I'm going to even add more of that. Boom. There. He's got Resurgent for 15 minutes. But, like I said, his drug level is dropping like crazy. Okay? I'm going to clear this. clear that, see? And then I'm going to hit auto again. And it's a pain in the butt because you have that Roxafen in. Oh well. But as you can see here, I can hit auto, and he's got Resurgence in. And when I hit auto here, trying to zoom in a little bit for you guys, it's going to want to take us to 5 minutes and everything. Oh, we definitely don't want any of that. That's why. There we go. That's better. We don't want any of this Roxafen. Okay. I hit auto here, and it's going to take us to 5 minutes of the Demix and the Sterigin, but it's also going to keep the total time of Resurgent in of 14 or 15 minutes of whatever we have. This will allow him to, again, have the drugs in his system to make sure that he is not being impaired by any side effects, but also has a bunch of Resurgent in him so that the drug level continues to drop. As you can see how fast his drug level is dropping since he has all this Resurgent in him. So we're going to go ahead and top him off. And that's basically perfect right there. Basically has 5 minutes of the Demix and the Sterigin, but has 14 minutes of Resurgent, and his drug level is at 74%. Now, by the time this 5 minutes runs out and he needs another drug dose, the Resurgent is going to drop his blood level a crap ton to where bringing his blood level or giving him another dose of 5 minutes of Sterigin or Demix will be no problem at all. And that's my final tip on long battle medic training. Holy cow, it took 40 minutes to explain all this, Blocky. We're going to definitely cut this up and do shorts, but this is a full 40-minute video, and it's going to be put up. But, man, does this teach you about medical training? I mean, like, there's a lot, right? Like, how do you feel about that? Here, I'll even make it to where they can hear you. How do you feel about this training? Do you think we did a good job on explaining it and being thorough?
Yeah, I think too. Like, there's nothing really missing there. I actually didn't know like the second screen on there. I never used it before. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I know there's again there's the multi-tool med thing, but guys, don't use the multi-tool med thing. Just use a med gun, guys. And again, even the pens. The pens are cool if you're in an emergency, but just use your med gun. The med gun is the one do all everything. So I do recommend to always have a med gun on you and whatnot. And now you know how to use it properly and ways to do all kinds of cool things with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this information. If there's anything you want to add, leave it down in the comments below. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. I know I'm not perfect and I may not have covered everything, or I may have got a few things wrong, so don't hate on me. You can leave it down in the comments to help out. That is perfectly fine, but please be respectful and things like that. Um, it was a long one, but this literally covered everything that you need, in my opinion. I didn't show you getting cured of the tier 2 by going into the 890, but I talked about it. You can go use the Medbed in the 890 to cure the tier 2. If you have a tier 1, you have to go to a hospital to cure that. You can mitigate all effects, even if they're tier 1 injuries, you can mitigate those effects so you'll still be able to run, you'll still be able to do combat. This is all helpful, amazing tips. If you have any questions, like I said, leave it down in the comments below. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys. The Discord is down in the description. If you want to join the org or the Discord, that's all down in the description. I'm out of breath. Um, do we make, do I have people watch this whole video for their medical training? We'll see. Maybe,
I
like I said, I'll just cut up into shorts. But this whole video, uncut, is going on YouTube. So enjoy, smash that like button. I hope you save some lives with all these medical tips. Very thorough medical tips.
Remember, drugs are good.
Drugs are good. This is Astro Manny signing off. I think I've covered everything. I don't need to do anything else. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And of course, adios. Fly safe.